get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, bub. Keep buzzing in my ear.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. The Uncanny X-Men 187 from 1984. Written by Chris Claremont and drawn by John Romita Jr. with Dan Green. This is sort of a Storm solo story. The X-Men will appear toward the end. Well, couple of the X-Men. Kitty Pryde is in Japan, and that is the Kitty Pryde and the Wolverine limited series, and so Wolverine is with her. So it's a little bit of a short-staffed X-Men. This is the cover for the reprint on what used to be Classic X-Men before it got changed to X-Men Classic. So Wraith Kill, and so the last issue was Life Death, drawn by Barry Windsor Smith with Terry Austin. So Storm is leaving. She has lost her powers. I do have a playlist. I have several playlists, actually. I have an X-Men playlist, a New Mutants playlist, and a X-Universe playlist where everything's going to go. So, all right. I really do love a Stan Lee presentation starring the Uncanny X-Men. That is awesome. So, just like the previous issue, it is raining buckets. As Storm disappears, we got the Dire Wraiths showing up. The Dire Wraiths are Marvel villainous creatures that they were using during the ROM. They had a... I don't know. Does Marvel own ROM? Was ROM I thought ROM was owned by another company. I thought it was like a gaming thing. But anyway, Marvel created a couple of villains and stuff like that. So this sort of stuff. So these characters, like I said, I have on the links below, I have a link to the Marvel fan site, and you can find out all your heart's desire about these Dire Wraiths here. So it shows up, and of course there's defenses that Forge put in. So you can see the alarms go off, and Storm hears it, and these agents show up out of nowhere, and it shows them a badge here. They said, we're assigned to protect Forge, and so the guard is going to let them in. But of course, it's a Wraith, and the guy goes, "You're not human," and very perceptive. Of course, they stick that into your brain and then suck you. They then they take over. So the poor guy is dead. So Forge calls in. The guy answers. And Forge says, "I just got an intruder alert on my status board." And the guard says, "False alarm, boss. Dang, Storm's triggering glitches throughout the system. Not to fret, though. Everything's under control." And Forge says, "Keep me posted." "Sure will." So here come the Wraiths. And so, and you can see here the Storm, those Texas. And we're in Dallas, by the way. And Storm says, I should be on my way, but suddenly that Wraith is right in front of her, startling her, and it grabs her here, and the creature here says, "Your curiosity will cost you dear human. Struggle is futile. Escape is impossible. Soon you'll be naught but a memory, and I shall stand in your place. So he's going to take over her. Of course, she says no and kicks her. In the 80s, they always drew women in high heels, so of course Storm would be wearing one even in that weather here. And so she runs, and it's a trope of John. You can always tell running characters. I think John Romita Jr., that is his superpower, is to draw people running. John Romita Jr. would do great at DC Comics doing the Flash. I am surprised they never gave him the Flash. Characters running. Oh yeah. So she grabs this garbage can and breaks the glass, and the Wraith comes, and she grabs the gun from the security guard, and unfortunately it doesn't do much damage. Now she's empty, and the Wraith says, though I'm wounded, your life essence will restore. And suddenly a shotgun blast, and it is a Naze. And so the two met in the previous issue. Naze is Forge's teacher, and but Forge has decided to make a do a change in careers. He does not want to be a mystic here. Storm deducts that they're after Forge. Naze says, that explains my dream, and you can see Storm is confused. I'm a shaman, or is it shaman? I always said shaman, so I'm gonna go with shaman. Last night I saw the eagle fighting for his life atop his eyrie, struck down by those who seemed to be trusted friends, and yet were not. The Wraiths are shape stealers, says Storms, and he's like, Ororo, Forge is the best hope of my people, and perhaps yours. He must be saved. And so she calls and says, Forge, and he's like, Ororo, what? And good Lord, as the Wraiths appear. And these here are called Death Wings here. And these are enchantments from Naze here. So Storm says, too late. The Wraiths are there. And Naze says, what now? And Storm sighs, we go to his rescue. And Naze says, been a while since I was in a decent scrap. I'm long overdue. And she says, I have a friend who would consider you a man after his own heart. I wish he were here. She means Wolverine. And Naze says, we'll do fine, especially the way you shoot. And she says, my friend taught me. So apparently during some time, Wolverine taught Storm how to shoot. I love the all black with the brown boots. That looks awesome here. Very cool imagery here. And Naze says, you know Forge? She says, yes. You do not like him? No, says Storm. Yet you're here risking your life. And Storm says, I have my reasons. Of course, she lost her powers due to a weapon that Forge had built. So she's in the elevator here looking for a way up. But there is a creature here, a hellhound from the Wraith, and it attacks Storm. Of course, Naze shoots him from there. So Storm says again, Naze, or is it Naze? There's an accent there which would lead me to believe that the E is pronounced. So is it Naze? Sort of like my name. It's Jose, not Hose. So would it be Naze? I've always said Naze because sometimes they put the accent, sometimes they don't. But I see it there, so we'll just go with Naze. But it could be Naze. So, all right. So she goes, save Forge Woman, and I'll consider us even. So, here we go, and you can see the Wraiths, doing a thing to get this cable to snap, and then it grabs Storm by the ankles, pulling her up, and she loses the gun and hangs on to it. There is a lot of thinking and kind of letting us know Chris Claremont loves words here. So she feels alive, very joyous, since she lost her powers. So all right, so she pulls up and then lets go. The momentum carries her a little bit, and then she hangs on to the corner there and pulls herself up. So so it says here, I should have disposed of these shoes in the lobby. The heels are sure to break my ankles. I spent most of my life barefoot. It still feels natural to me and quite comfortable. No sign of the wraith or nays. See, no accent there. I cannot wait, nor can I help him. Forge needs me more. Be careful, old one. May your gods walk with you, she says. And in the meantime, Nays opens the elevator doors and jumps out. And he likes Storm. He says, to be 20 years younger, I'd not let a prize like Ororo slip through my fingers. I'd give my foster son a run for her heart. He'd never forget. So, as he walks through, goes to the door and starts shooting and hits something. And he goes, got it. And then he says, Hokaki. Be proud, my ancestors. Our numbers may be few, but our hearts are strong. Come what may, we will prevail. And so Storm says, these doors ice cold to the touch. That should not be. And then she opens it. Bright lady, a blizzard. Impossible. We are too far south. A tempest such as this should not occur in midwinter. Even in midwinter. Actually, yes, they can. And then she's grabbed from behind by the Wraiths. And so, come too far, fought too hard to yield or lose. So she kind of busts her way through here. And then another Hellhound here. They go said slay her. And she goes, need a weapon, but visibility is almost nil. Wind cutting my skin, blowing against me. Cannot hear anything from behind. Construction equipment. If I can grab the length of that pipe, which she does, and boom, or sorry, kathud here as she hits him. And so she, of course, is feeling the bitter cold since she can no longer control the weather. And behind her, that Hellhound hits her here. So Chris Claremont lets us know that Storm was about to fall, and she opened her arms like to go fly, but of course she doesn't have her power. But a freak gust kept her at bay. So of course that would be very, very cold here. So she's gonna see if she can get out of the cold here, and this wraith grabs her here, but she still decides I gotta get out of here. So she jumps in there here. I have killed without hesitation or mercy. Wolverine would be proud as she closes the door. Is this an ending, the farewell of the storm that was, or my new beginning? And then she kind of screams out in pain here. So here we have Nays, the Wraith, and a Storm. A beautifully constructed pattern here. This panel appears because she was thinking, just her thoughts here, of all these, kind of this whole situation that's going on. Meantime, so is Forge. So something's going on here. He's getting And the Wraiths are attacking him as well, but those systems that he has still are able to protect them, and you can see they're attacking the Wraiths here, and these death birds that Naze also are protecting. And so Storm arrives, and he realizes that it's Storm here. She goes, "Where are the lights?" And Forge says, "First thing the Wraith did was zap the generators. Emergency systems are holding their own, but I've had to divert all power to maintain internal defenses. I'm glad to see you," he says. "What happened to Forge? Some entity bound us in a rapport, tried to drive us insane. I think simply for the fun of it." And Forge says, "Your guess is as good as mine." She says, "I doubt that. How naturally you lie. I should be used to that by now." And Forge says, "Think what you like, Ororo, your privilege. But if you're not here to help, find a place to hide." "I promised Naze I would save you," says Storm. "Don't do me any favors, lady. My words, Forge, is my bond. Much as I might wish otherwise." And then she goes, "Take cover," as she shoots. It says Zark on the energy pistol as more of these creatures are coming through. So Forge also shoots his little thing. He says, "Scanalyzer's working fine, but the Wraiths clouded my perception, so I didn't notice. That's how they got so close undetected. Ororo's no sorceress. How is she able to spot them? Uh-oh. They can deflect my blaster shot." And so here is one of the Wraiths here. "You've proven yourself a considerable nuisance, human." And she wonders where the hand blaster is. "This punishment should prove fittingly ironic," as they do some magic here. She says, "The Wraith are turning me into one of them. It's an illusion," she says. "But how do I convince Forge? Forge, that Wraith tried to get me. Destroy her before she can cast a spell." And she says, "My pleasure," and shoots the Storm one. And she says, "You knew the truth?" And Forge says, "It meant calling on parts of myself I've denied for 10 years. Abilities I swore never to use again. But I figured you were worth it." And they see Naze here. And he says, Forge says, "We feared the worth." He says, "Oh, ye of little faith, I taught you everything you know, boy, but not everything I know." And so Forge thinks here, "We were caught in a soul link. If nothing happened to Nath, then what triggered?" And we go down here. "A contact close by the building. It's being hit by something big." And of course, it's Rogue and Colossus in Colossus's new uniform here. And you can see Storm is happy to see Colossus, gives him a hug. "Nice entrance," says Forge. "Couldn't you have used the door?" And she says, "Wanted to surprise you all." And Colossus asks Storm if she's well, and she says, "The better for seeing you, little brother," and Rogue. And Rogue says, "We came as fast as we could. Sorry it took so long." And Storm says, "How did you know where to find me or that I was in danger?" And she says, "Me and Val Cooper, Forge's boss, had a little talk. I don't work for her, kid. I've got nothing to do with her outfit," snaps Forge. "Another lie. Lords of the earth and air," she says, as they see all these. So these creatures must not have been from Naze. So these creatures, I must have read that wrong. So my apologies. And so Forge says, "Looks like they came up for some reinforcements." And Rogue is like, "How many of these yuccas are there?" And Colossus says, "For each one we defeat, a score takes its place." And Forge thinks here, "My spirit sight shows me the the truth. Most of that is illusion. By tricking the X-Men into fighting things that aren't there, the real aliens will be able to catch them unawares. It's been too long since I used my own mystical abilities. They're too undependable. I don't dare risk it. I'll have to find some other way to combat their spells. And so we're now in the sanctum here. This is the Eagle's Nest Forged Sanctum Sanctorum. That's the same thing they use in Doctor Strange. The seat of the nexus of his might. Most impressive. His power is almost beyond comprehension. He is a fool to deny it as the shaman begins to cast his spells. Meanwhile, the Wraiths continue fighting, and look at this. He's going to try to get Colossus with their whatever that little tentacle here, but it doesn't work, and you can see Colossus kind of kicking him, and it snaps that off, and Storm blasts that creature. You can see Storm here, and Colossus says, "A gun, Storm, why did you not simply generate a lightning bolt?" And she says, "You cannot utilize powers that no longer exist." And Rogue's like, no. And it turns out, of course, if you just give you a quick rundown, I do have a playlist. I've covered this issue already. They were aiming for Rogue, but Storm got her out of the way here. So, and then this is Rom. This is the other character that Marvel Comics was doing here. And so it looks like we now have reinforcements here, and you can see the Wraiths are being defeated, and they're like, holograms? Wraiths have their illusions, I have mine. I think these two Wraiths were the last two. Then we win. Perhaps, has anyone seen Naze? And so you can see this little black thing. It says, unnoticed, the fabric of reality tears wild. And the battle is suddenly, unexpectedly rejoined. Only this time it may be over before it's truly begun. Next issue, Legacy of the Ghost. So this one ends in another cliffhanger. So, all right, Uncanny X-Men 187. Chris Claremont, John Romita Jr. with Dan Green. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.